Now, there are also many questions and thoughts about this Project Nemesis, and I know I still have some phone calls on the line, and I would like to get to them, but I wanted to get to this in the whole idea of blurring fact and fiction. Project Nemesis was a hypothesis that NASA scientists came up with to try and explain why there were periodic major catastrophes on planet Earth. They said, well, possibly there is a second companion sun that is a brown dwarf, therefore not visible to the naked eye, and that it has comets and asteroids that come shooting off of it as it starts to careen into our solar system once again. Now, this, again, was simply a hypothesis. It was an idea to try and explain what they were seeing. No one had seen any idea or any evidence to suggest that Nemesis was real. It was simply a thought game. Now we start to see it in the sun. We see it in the tabloid news talking about Earth under attack from Death Star, and they quote the scientist on Project Nemesis, but not really giving you the idea that Nemesis was simply a hypothesis. Then this came out again under, and you'll find all of this in the Space War news, the search for the Death Star, which then came out in the Telegraph. And I assume the Telegraph is a legitimate newspaper source. And they get into NASA scientists searching for invisible Death Star that circles our sun. So they're starting to make this common knowledge, trying to put this into the mind stream without giving you any of the data or details that are necessary to fully understand this. First of all, not even mentioning that Nemesis is not known to be real. There is no evidence of Nemesis at this time. That's not to say Nemesis is not real, right? It's just that the story itself is not based on a evidential study. It's not saying, okay, we've got evidence to suggest, like they did with Planet X, saying that they saw perturbations in the light rays, showing that there was a gravitational flux of some sort, therefore saying there was a body of this mass floating out there. That's how they came to suggest that there was a Planet X. Well, Planet X may be this other sun. It may be this second sun known as Wormwood in the Bible, or some have compared Nibiru, which, Sitchin puts as a planet, but some others say it could be a sun or a brown dwarf star. Well, once you start to get deeper into the picture, and you'll find that there is actually a potential for this brown dwarf star coming in, being a companion sun, which is known as G1.9. And G1.9, according to NASA scientists, is a supernova that had exploded many years ago. And now we have the visible light to see it. Well, they had to use infrared to see it. My apologies on that. And when they did show it, it looked just like the Firefox logo, which is very curious. It makes you wonder about Firefox. And remember that Fox does equal 666. So therefore, we've got a burning 666 on our computer to go with my Bitnapple on my Macintosh and all the other satanic symbols that you will find in the internet and on corporate logos and the logo of CERN, of course. Conoco. There's so many 666s out there, it's ridiculous. When we have the lightning from heaven in the presidency riding the beast screaming, "Thank you, Satan," you got to start to wonder what is really going on planet Earth. What is real, what isn't? So when you start to look into G1.9, you'll find that NASA is saying that this is not a second binary star, but just a supernova. But you'll find other people like the Star Viewer team that are coming forward and saying, look, this is a second sun, a companion sun, and it is bringing in comments and all of that. But it's interesting that the news decided to highlight Nemesis, which is simply a hypothesis. So I thought that should be covered. And you, of course, can follow all of this in the Space War news. I keep it going, keep it covered, and try to keep you up to date. NASA's Project M to put scientist avatars on the moon, the use of a new enhanced Earth-Mars communication, and, of course, all the Phobos news, which is really going to be critical here in the very near future in the whole disclosure movement. I promise you that. So as we, let's see, where are we at on this? In 2 minutes, is it worth a call? Let's go ahead and go live with a phone call. Charles, you're live on the Freezone.
Yeah, hey, Freeman. I was just calling. You alluded to Phobos last time. I was just curious what you think is really up there.
The Phobos,
some sort of space station or what? Yeah, Phobos.
Phobos and Deimos, fear and fright. Now, you might find this curious, as I was talking about CERN a little bit, and CERN, of course, just recently relaunched, and they brought themselves up to 3.5 trillion electron volts. This is the highest recorded particle acceleration ever, and the collision will be coming shortly. Then they will shut down CERN all through 2012, so that should be interesting. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But when we start to look at this picture of Phobos, we realize that these, what I was going to say is that there is also another particle accelerator called the RHIC, or RHIC, which is here in America, and it's, it has the Phobos Collider, which is kind of curious. I thought that very interesting. I'll try and find that news article before the end of the show. So, and then there's also all the Phobos programs that come along with computers, which I thought was very interesting because, you know, the word itself means fright. So who wants to program fright into everything? And then you have Deimos being fear. So I've done numerous shows, and actually I have 2 more shows coming up. I did a show on, it was Time Out with Kevin Gallagher. And then I also did John McGowan Presents, and these will both be coming out very shortly. They'll be putting them on YouTube. It was Access Television in Connecticut. Getting deep into this Phobos mystery, and have been covering this for quite some time, and it's all there in my past shows. We're up on the break. Do you want to hold over?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one more thing. So.
Okay. See you on the other side.